Hello. So for tonight we are going to be going over how to integrate your database into the web page that you built on our previous lesson. If you go to Canvas and you go to week 3, you'll notice I uploaded a zipped folder that has all the files that you'll be needing for what we're going to be covering tonight. So just go ahead and click on this, and then just click on Download Files, and then click on Save. And that should download that right to your computer. Once you've done that, go ahead and I'll just show that. Go ahead and expand that so it's no longer zipped. And if you open it up, we've got two different files that we're going to be using. We've got our database.php file, and we've got our listmodel.php file that we're going to be using. We also got a few placeholder images that we're going to be using for this tutorial, just to kind of verify that things are working the way that we set them up to be. Alright, so what we're going to do is I want you to copy these 3 images. And I want you to go and paste them into your images folder. So in our PRG 343 folder that we created in week 1, so we've got, I'll just go ahead and take this out. So in this folder you should have an images folder, and you should have these files right here. So go ahead and drag your images into here. So drag these over, and then go ahead and drag these 2 files over here as well. Now I already have these files in here, so I'm just going to keep them there. But go ahead and pull them in here, and once you've done that, go ahead and open up brackets. If we open up brackets, you're going to have your database file that I sent you, and it's got a bunch of PHP code in here. Now this isn't a PHP class, so I'm not going to go over all the specifics of what's in here, but pretty much everything is set up in here so that all you need to do is input some relevant information, such as your database host, your username, your password, and the database name. Once you put that in and save it, this file is good to go. The other file that you downloaded was the listmodel.php. This code right here is what allows you to make selections from your database and pull the data from your database and display it on your website. So if we look at this right here, so we've got a class that's listModel, and this will make, I'll explain this in a moment. And then we've got our static function of getRows. So this function goes through and it gets all of the different rows that are in our database. So if we go to 000webhost.com and we log in, click on Manage Database, and if we go and click on Manage here and go to PHP MyAdmin, let's go ahead and expand this, and we're going to go to our portfolio. Alright, so right now I have 2 records saved in this table. So we've got, for the title, we've got test logo and Photoshop, and then for the description, I've just got a bunch of random text in there. And then for my file name, I've got photo1, photo2.jpg. This information I don't believe you currently have in your portfolio database yet, but we'll be covering that in a moment. I'll make sure that your database is set up so that everything's working the way you need it to. Alright, so these are rows. So this is one row, this is the second row. And so that's what this is going to get. So it's going to pull your data, and then it's going to list it out in a row. So what we want to do is we want to go to our portfolio page that we built on week 2, and so we've got all of this code right here. Now if you remember, when we built our portfolio page, we had a bunch of example blocks where we just had a bunch of examples displaying. We no longer need that. We just need the first list item that we created, so we'll delete all the other extras. Go ahead and take these out. Alright, so we've got just this one right here that has our example title, our example description, and then like an image that we just pulled from the web, right? So we're going to go ahead and copy this And we're going to go to our list model, and we're going to paste that right in here. So if we look at our notes right here, it says HTML code for each row goes in here. Alright, so we're going to paste that in there. We're going to put this commented code out on another line so we can see it a little bit better. And I'm just going to do a command curly bracket and just move these over a little bit so we can get some clear, so we can see this code a little bit more clearly. Alright, now generally speaking, if we were just going to have all this code in there, we would need to have it all in one single row. However, it makes it a little bit harder to read it. So we're going to kind of break it up into sections. So I'm going to put a comma here. You'll notice that all this text right here now changed this color. That means I just closed the string. I'm going to do a dot, which now I can add to the string. And now I put a comma here and a comma here. All right, I'm going to add this next line in. So I'm going to comma here. I just want to make sure I'm sorry, not commas, quotes. I'm going to add in a single quote over here with a plus. And I'm just going to copy this right here. And I'm going to apply this to each line. Just so we're all nice and consistent. Alright, next I'm going to just copy this right here. I'm going to paste it here, here, here. And we're just going to keep on going so that each beginning row has a quote in front. So, beginning has a single quote. The ending right here has a single quote and then a period. This period just means that we are pretty much adding these two strings together, if you were to look at this. All right. Strings is a term, a variable term that's used in programming that just represents data that is in a text format. Now granted, this code technically is written in HTML, but it's still going to be displayed in a text format. All right, so we've got all of our code set up here. It's looking good. And we've got our example description, our example title. All right. Now in your previous database classes, you should have learned how to write MySQL statements, or how to write queries that will pull data from the database, how to delete, how to create tables, whatever it is that you want to do. And that's pretty much what we're going to be doing right here, right in our PHP code, is we're going to write a query that is going to pull, that's going to grab this portfolio table, and it's going to pull the data that's in here. So we're going to select portfolio, or actually we need to specify what we want to select from the portfolio. Since we're going to grab all data, or all fields, so all fields would be art ID, title, description, and file name. Since we want all of this information, we're just going to do an asterisk. So the asterisk represents all info, and then we're going to specify from where. So we're going to say from, and then we're going to spell out our portfolio table. Alright, so if you've got your portfolio table all caps like this, then you need to make sure you spell it like that here. Alright, and that's pretty much all we need to do for our query here, is we're going to select everything from our portfolio table. Alright, and this PHP code right here will go through to our database file, which we have up here, and it's going to get a set of all data that meets the criteria that this query went and got. And then we go to our for each statement, and so we've got our data that has all of the data that's come through from our table, and it's broken out into different rows. And so each row is going to go and list out this block of HTML code. So if we have two rows in our database, that means on our portfolio page we are going to see 2 items. For an example, I'm going to go ahead and click here. I'm going to click on my portfolio example. All right, and it goes ahead and pulls from our database these two images, this data right here. So if we've got test logo, Photoshop, then we've got a little description here, and these images. So if we look at our database, it's the exact same information that's in our database. So the title, we've got test logo and Photoshop. Our description has what I put there, and then we've got our file names. Now, the images that I gave you, we have photo 1, photo 2, and photo 3. All right, so that's going to go ahead and list all that out. Now, we haven't put any dynamic code in here for the image, the title, and the description, but we'll cover that later. For now, we just want to make sure we get everything else set up correctly. Next, what we want to do is we want to go to our portfolio. Now, we no longer need this part right here, so we're just going to delete all this. So all we have now is we've got our class of body, our class of center section, and right in here, we're going to make a PHP statement. So we're going to do greater than sign, question mark, PHP, and then we're going to do question mark and close it off. All right, inside here we can write some PHP statements. And what we want to put in here is we want to include our list model PHP file and our database file that we created. So we're going to type in include, and we're just going to type in database.php. So this is referring to this file right here that we created. And we're also going to include our list model.php file. We now have access to these two files when we now want to write a query. Now, if we go to our list model, we have the class list model. So we want to get to this function that's in here of get rows from the list model class. So we're going to type in list model. So this right here represents this class. Then we're going to do two colons, and then we're going to put in the name of the function. So I'm just go ahead and copy this, get rows, paste that here, and that's it. So now we are calling that function that we wrote right over here that goes and selects everything from the portfolio table, and it goes and lists everything out. Echo is a statement that pretty much prints it out onto the screen, or it writes it onto your page. All right, and that's everything we need here for our portfolio page. All right, we've got our list model mostly set up now. And if we go to our database file, we still need to input our data here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to manage database, and if we look at here, we've got these titles: database name, database user, and database host. We'll look here, I've got kind of the description right here. So database host, database user, then your database password and name. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy this for DB name, and find DB name here, and I'm going to paste that in. All right, DB host is a local host, so I'm going to copy that, paste that in, and our username. So just copy that and paste it in. All right, now all that's left is our password. And if you don't remember the password to your database, you can just go click on Manage, and you can click on Change Password. As if this will work with me. Come on. All right. And I'm going to type in a new password. Just do test. All right. Looks like it's a little too short, so we're going to do test 25. All right. So change the password name to test 25. So I'm going to type that in here, test 25. All right, so we should have all of our information that we need for our database. You don't need to worry about any of this right here, though once you get familiar with PHP, I recommend digging through it to understand how everything works here. All right, so we've got our list model, and it pulls the database information from a database file right here, makes the query, gets the results, and prints it out onto the screen. Alright, so if we got all of these files all set up, what we can do now is we can go ahead, go to our website. Surely I've got it here. Here we are. Okay, and I'm going to click on File Manager. In File Manager, click on Upload Files Now. I'll give it a second. Alright, so we've got all of our files in here. I'm going to click on our Images folder, and I'm going to go to my Images folder here. I'm going to grab these 3 images, and I'm going to drag them over. Now I already have these in, but just to show you how it's done, just quickly just drag these over, and it's going to re-upload them. Alright, so we've got photo 1, photo 2, and photo 3.jpg. Alright, which means we can now use these. I'll go to the public HTML folder, and we are going to upload our list model, or our portfolio, list model, and database files. So we're just going to drag these over, and we're going to upload those up. Okay, if everything transferred correctly, we should be able to go to our website, click on portfolio.php, and it gives us a result of 2 items right here that has the example title and the same description for both. And the reason for that, if we go to list model, is we just made it so it would write this out each time that we have a record in our database. And to give you an example of this, I'm going to go to a database here, and I'm going to add in a new row. Alright, so we're going to go to Insert. Alright, looks like my connection I've been disconnected from my database. I'm going to refresh this. Relog back in. Yes, now I changed my password. Alright. So click over here, go to Portfolio, and I'm going to go to Insert. So we don't need to put anything into the art ID. That one auto increments for us. I'm going to type in test3 for my title, for my description. I'm just going to say this is just another example. File name, I'm going to do photo3.jpg, and I'm going to click on Go. Alright, if you also notice, whenever you do queries, it goes and writes the MySQL query for you, or an SQL query that shows you how this would be written if you were to use this in PHP. Alright, so let's go to our browse. Alright, so we've got 3 records right here. Now, even though our portfolio page is not set up currently to display any dynamic content, it should now show a 3rd item. So if we refresh the page, we now have 3 in here. Now let's go ahead and set this up so that it will provide some specific data. Alright, so we're going to go here, delete that out, and I'm going to do a $, row, so that's this right here, and then we're going to specify the field. So in our database we've got our title field, description field, and file name field. So we're going to use title here, so I'm going to use our single quotes and type in title. Okay, and just to save time, I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to go through here, paste that in, and I'm going to change this to description. Make sure we have everything spelled the same way. So description and title. So we've got title and description. Alright, so if we have that saved, let's also update our image. So I'm going to take out this placeholder. And I'm going to do a / images, which refers to our images folder right here. I'm going to do another /, and now that we're inside the images folder, all I need to do is write down whatever image I want to use, and since we have that already specified in our database, we can do our 2 single quotes to close our string. Alright, so this is closing the string, and that's opening it back up, and inside here we are going to add in the information for our photo. And we named that, find it here, called it file name. So I'm going to type in file name. Alright, so this would put in photo1.jpg, photo2.jpg, photo3.jpg as it goes through the list. Alright, so go ahead and verify you got everything typed in just like this. Go ahead and save it. Alright, and now what we're going to do, we're going to go to our files here, and go to our file manager. And we are going to re-upload these. Okay, so click upload and refresh it. Now if we go to our portfolio page and refresh this, it's going to pull up 3 different items on our portfolio page, and it is now dynamic. Anything that we now enter into our database will automatically display on our portfolio page. Now looking at this, the formatting seems to be a bit off. Since different images are at different sizes, these boxes are going to change in dimensions and shape, and it's going to be somewhat ugly to look at. So we're going to go ahead and fix that. Alright, to do that, we're going to go to our portfolio.php file, and we're going to modify our CSS. Alright, so if we look inside here, actually we'll need to go to our list model. We have an art image class that is around our image. So we're going to use that to our advantage. So we've got our art image, and we're going to specify a width of 100%. Alright, so the image is going to be what we have here. And we're going to do a height of 400 pixels, and we're going to do an overflow of hidden. This will pretty much cut off the bottom of the image if it goes past the height of 400. Alright, so let's save that, and we will re-upload this to our database. I need to start closing down some of these. Okay, so I'm going to upload portfolio again. Let's refresh this. Alright, looks like these images that we're looking at are actually a lot wider than they are tall, so doing 400 by 400 isn't going to quite cut it. So what we're going to do, let's go ahead and set the height to 250. Let's do 300. And we're going to go ahead and put in a background in here. Map 0, 0, 0. And we do want this image to be centered in there. So we're going to do a top of 50% and a transform dash y, transform y, translate y, and we're going to do negative 50%. All right, now we're going to re-upload this. And we're going to see how this looks. All right, looks like you got the two switched. So we want to do this one as positive and this one as a negative. Upload that. Oh, and we'll need to do this as a position relative. Upload that, refresh the page. Alright, I'm going to do something a little different here. We're going to use the inspect element, and we're going to play with the code to see what it is that we need to do to get the exact result that we want. So if we do this at negative 50, this at 50. So I was right with the top and transform translate y. It's just missing the position relative. Alright. Change this back to top of 50%, translate y to negative 50%. Drag in a portfolio, upload it to a portfolio page, refresh the page. Alright, now looking at the image, anything that goes outside of the image is going to now be black because we give it a background of black. And then we've got our image right here, so it's going to always go to the full edge in either direction, and then it is vertically centered. Now we need to look at our text, and looking at our text here, they're at varying heights, so we'll need to specify an exact height for that. So looking at what we have here, so we've got art title and art description. So I need to specify a height for this and a height for this. Alright, so for art title, our font size is 25, so we're going to do a height of 25 pixels. Art description, we're going to do a height of, let's do 50 pixels. And looking at, as these are, this one's centered in the middle, and we probably want these to be on to the side. Let's do a text align of left. in our artwork, so right now we're doing a margin of 20 that's all around. We're going to tweak that a little bit. So right now we've got margin of 20 pixels going this way, this way, this way, and this way. So we're going to just set it up so I've got a margin right, 20 pixels. Okay. And let's see how this is going to look. All right. So if we're now looking at this, everything is the same height. However, it looks like we didn't give enough height for our test logo, so we're going to go ahead and inspect that element again. And we're going to play with the height, see what looks good. So we're going to give it a height of, well, we did a line height of 40 here, so we'll just go with 40. Also, it looks like these two are getting close, really close to each other, which we don't like, so we'll need to fix that. All right. So we're going to go to art title, give that a height of 40 pixels. We're going to go to our artwork, and we're going to do a margin dash bottom of 20 pixels as well. So that's going to put 20 pixels between these, just as we have 20 pixels here. And looking at these right here, we have quite a bit of space here. So maybe we can either shrink them to go side by side to fit all three on the same row, or we can make them bigger. The choice is up to you, whichever you prefer based on the content that you're going to be showing in your portfolio. But for now, let's keep increasing that. Alright, so I got to 458. Alright. So we'll change that to 458 for my width on artwork. I've got a host manager here. Close that out. Portfolio, and upload that. Now, if we refresh the page, we should now have an equal distance space between all of these, and as you add new records into your database, they will now display in here. Just make sure that you upload any images that you're going to be using into your images directory here, and then just to upload your portfolio PHP file if you make any tweaks to it, make any adjustments. But pretty much once you've got the page set up the way you like it, all you really need to do is just add in your records here to the database and upload your images. Alright, that is everything for this lesson tonight. If you have any questions, feel free to give me a call or send me a text. And for week 4, all I'm looking for you to do is I want you to grab all of your different designs, anything that you would like to showcase, any portfolio pieces that you have. Those are what I want you to put into here. So if you got a description for it, awesome. If you got a title for it, awesome. Then just put the name of the image here, and then upload the images in here. And I will be also creating a video to kind of show you how to get your work into a web-friendly format. All right, well, thank you and have a good night.